Yemen. Zaid Belbagi closely follows Saudi politics and joining me here for some discussion. Much talk of military action, very little talk of a political solution at the moment. Let's start with the military action. This Saudi-led coalition, what's the strategy here?
I think the ultimate aim is to stop Yemen going into the throes of chaos. I think it was a step too far when the Houthi rebels advanced on Aden, which hitherto was an island of stability, which is a very, very unstable and difficult part of the world. So the ultimate objective was to just thwart their advance as a matter of priority.
The problem is this, I'm hearing from across the Gulf states, leaders insisting that Operation Decisive Storm isn't about sectarianism. This is about creating stability in what is a sea of instability. This is rapidly becoming a failed state, Yemen. But the problem is this, if there is no political solution and only this military action, it is likely to become a sectarian war very, very quickly, isn't it?
That's an interesting opinion. I would echo what the Gulf states are saying, in that this is an essential struggle between the forces of stability against those who want to hold the region back. Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states are surrounded by a catalogue of failed or failing states.
You say those who want to hold the region back, but many experts tell me this is about regional and tribal politics in Yemen. It could possibly become more, but at this stage it could be contained if people talked and they didn't walk. So where are we so far as a political solution is concerned?
A political and peaceful way out is, of course, the #1 priority. It's in nobody's interest to extend this conflict further than it should. I think the priority right now for the Saudi military and others is to get military supplies in. I've just had word that the International Red Cross plane has arrived. We were speaking earlier about the Russian and Indian
aircraft. Delayed, of
yes,
course,
of course, yes.
Do we know why?
I think it's just because it's not safe to land. The priority now really is Aden. The situation in Aden is pretty desperate. Hospitals are running out of medicine, and the Saudi Navy must take control of Aden and its port to get supplies through.
I guess I refer to my question though, and I hear what you say, and the humanitarian situation is dire, and these aid flights have been trying to get in for some time. But let's take the military action off the table and talk about the prospect of a political solution. Is there the will here to pursue talks? Because the Houthis will say, at least in principle today, that if the airstrikes stop, they are prepared to talk. They don't say to whom, but they are prepared to talk.
There is no doubt that these strikes were brought about in a way to leverage to get the Houthis back onto the negotiating table. This is not for Saudi Arabia war against Yemen, to which it has brotherly, familial, tribal, religious relations. It's definitely one to get the Houthis on board. The Houthis are a militia. They cannot run the government. And increasingly what we're seeing is their leader, Abdul Malik Houthi, is unable to even control his militia. And as we've seen in Yemen time and time again, should those militia get out of the control of their leader, they will campaign a reign of terror.
Well, they're certainly being successful. Very briefly, can you see ground troops in Yemen from this Saudi-led coalition anytime soon?
I think the priority right now is just to get the Houthis back onto the negotiating table. Ground troops are an absolute last case scenario.